The room had already fallen into silence long before he closed his eyes. There was something about the night that made everything feel softer. The edges of the world seemed less sharp, the noise of the day replaced by a quiet that carried its own kind of weight. He lay on his side, one arm tucked under the pillow, his thoughts slowly drifting away. At the foot of the bed, the dog was resting. At least, that was where it usually stayed. For a while, nothing changed. The rhythm of breathing filled the space, slow and steady. The faint movement of fabric, the distant hum from outside, all blending into a background that barely registered. Then the dog moved. It did not rush. It did not hesitate. It simply stood up, stretched slightly, and stepped forward onto the bed with quiet precision. Each movement was controlled, careful, as if it understood exactly where it was going. It circled once, then again, not out of confusion, but out of intention, and finally, it settled near his head, not beside his chest, not at his feet, but close to his face, just above his shoulder, where the warmth of his breath could be felt. He noticed it only as a sensation at first, a shift in warmth, a presence. He opened his eyes slightly, just enough to confirm what he already sensed. The dog was there, close, still, calm. He closed his eyes again. It felt natural, comforting, but there was something in that position that carried meaning beyond comfort. Dogs do not choose proximity without reason. Every position they take while resting is shaped by instinct, memory, and emotional connection. Sleeping near the head is one of the most intentional choices a dog can make. It is the closest point of awareness. From there, the dog can sense everything. The rise and fall of breathing, the smallest movement, the faintest sound. The head carries scent, warmth, subtle signals that reveal the internal state of a person. To a dog, this area is rich with information. The dog adjusted slightly, shifting its body until it found a balance between closeness and space. Not pressing too tightly, not drifting too far, just enough. This balance is important. Dogs seek connection, but they also respect boundaries when trust is present. The fact that the dog chose to stay close without overwhelming contact suggested something deeper than simple affection. It suggested confidence, trust. The man's breathing slowed as sleep began to take over. His body softened. His muscles released the tension they had been holding throughout the day. The dog remained still, but not asleep, not fully. Dogs do not surrender completely to sleep in the same way humans do. Even in rest, their senses remain partially active, tuned to changes in the environment. From this position, the dog could detect even the smallest shift. A change in breathing rhythm, a slight movement of the head, a distant sound beyond the walls. All of it passed through its awareness. There is a quiet psychological dynamic at work here. Dogs often position themselves in ways that allow them to monitor the ones they are bonded to. This is not anxiety. It is not fear. It is instinct shaped by attachment. To stay close is to stay informed. To stay aware is to stay connected. The man shifted slightly in his sleep. His arm moved. His breathing paused for a brief moment, then resumed. The dog's eyes opened instantly, not startled, just alert. It lifted its head, just enough to observe, to confirm that the change was familiar, expected, safe. Then it relaxed again. This is recognition. Dogs build internal maps of human behavior. Even during sleep, they learn patterns, rhythms, sequences of movement. When something fits the pattern, they remain calm. When something does not, they become attentive. The dog lowered its head again, returning to its position. Connection maintained. There is also an emotional layer to this behavior. Sleeping near the head places the dog in a position of vulnerability. It is close to the most active part of the human body, where sudden movements are more likely. Choosing that position requires trust, but it also reflects a form of quiet guardianship, not guarding in a protective, aggressive sense, but in a steady, watchful way. The dog is not just resting, it is present. The night continued. Time moved without being noticed. The room remained still, wrapped in a calm that felt complete. At some point, the man stirred again, not fully awake, just enough to shift his position slightly. His head turned, his breath brushed against the dog's fur. The dog responded instantly, adjusting its position to maintain balance, then settling again, once the movement stopped. No tension, no hesitation, just adaptation. This responsiveness is not random. It is built through repeated interaction, through shared nights, through consistent patterns. The dog learns, and it adjusts. The man's sleep deepened. His breathing became slower, more even. The dog's body relaxed further, but its ears remained slightly angled, always ready to detect change. This balance between rest and awareness is part of their nature. In a shared environment, this creates a quiet system. One rests deeply, the other remains lightly aware. Roles shift, connection remains. As the night began to fade, a faint light entered the room, barely noticeable, but enough for the dog to detect. Its eyes opened slowly. It remained still, observing the change. Then it looked at him, still asleep, still calm. The dog did not move. It stayed, maintaining the same position it had chosen hours before. Eventually, the man began to wake. His breathing changed. His body shifted. His eyes opened slowly, adjusting to the light. For a moment, he did not move. He simply felt the presence beside him. Warm, steady, close. He turned his head slightly and saw the dog. Still there, still calm, still present. He smiled, but this time, there was something more in that expression. Understanding. The dog had not chosen that place randomly. It had chosen it because of what it allowed. Closeness, awareness, connection. He reached out slowly, placing his hand gently on the dog's side. The dog leaned slightly into the touch, its body soft, its breathing steady. No resistance, no tension, just quiet acceptance. He realized something then. The dog had spent the entire night beside his head, not because it needed comfort, but because it chose connection, because it trusted, because it remained aware, because it stayed. And in that simple, quiet choice, there was a message. Not spoken, not explained, but clear. To be close is to understand, to stay is to care. And sometimes, the deepest form of connection is not in movement or action, but in presence that remains, even in silence.